Mm. Mm. I love feta cheese. Mm. It's so goaty. Mm. Anyway, it's not about the goat cheese. I just happen to have some of that. It's about the Phillips new bridge. So this is the replacement bridge for the original one that I got for the Hue lights. This one's HomeKit compatible, which means my iPhone should be able to control it. And I'm hoping that will eliminate a lot of the problems, so I don't have to go into the app and find the app, swipe the app, pick the app, switch to the scene that I want, do the thing, blah, blah, blah. That I should just be able to hit the Siri button and say, hey Siri, turn the lights on in the living room. And I think that will be a huge improvement. So I'm going to get that set up today. Now, it's Friday. It's the time after I have my cheese. A little more goat. Welcome to my shelf of tech. This is where my wireless stuff and my cable and stuff maintains. It's up out of sight for the most part, and I've vacuumed it just so that you would not think it was covered in dust, which it is. New Hue Bridge, old Hue Bridge. I'm following instructions I found online because none came with it on how to transfer your settings from one to the other. First, Ethernet. Second, power. Power. And now, I think we can leave this alone. I guess I could try to organize it a little better. But heck, I'm probably gonna have to come push that button. But that's not what it says now. So let's wait for that. Well, the next step was to open up the Hue app, and it immediately popped up and said, we see a new bridge, so tap transfer settings to transfer your stuff. So there we go. Welcome to Hue Bridge Transfer. Hi there! It says we're going to transfer your lights, devices, scenes, alarms, timers. Make sure both your old and new Hue Bridge are connected to your network and powered on. So let's prepare transfer. Ooh, look, it's got like the old one and the new one, and they're like beaming stuff around. Please press the link button on your old Hue Bridge. Let's go do that. Now it wants me to press the button on the new Hue Bridge. Okay, let's go do that. And here's some terms of use nonsense. Sure, whatever. Okay, firmware updates, relax. This might take some time. This is so exciting! In just moments, Siri will be able to control my lights. It's ready to transfer. Here's the button. Honestly, this process is easy, but it's kind of seems remarkably slow considering how little data there has to be on this thing. And that they're both plugged into gigabit Ethernet ports. Oh, look. There's a button. Blink lights. All right, we're going to try this. All right, that's one over there. And I'm going to push the button. And it looked like it worked. So far, so good. Now on to the next step. All right, somewhere on here, there's a pinhole. Whoops, there went the other one. Well, could be a problem. You see it? Restore factory settings button. There it is, on the bottom. 1001, 1002, 1003, 4, 5. And there we are. Everything is set. Excellent. Now, how do we make Siri work? I've taken a brief detour into La La Land here. I went into the Hue app on the iPad and told it to set up Siri control, and the first thing it did was it said, oh, well, you'll need to enable iCloud keychain to use it on multiple devices, which of course I wanted to use it on multiple devices, but then it uses iCloud keychain, which I'm not crazy about. I use 1Password. The reason I don't use iCloud keychain is because I want to be able to use this on PCs as well. Although I suppose I could get away with iCloud keychain, 1Password is better. Anyway, I had to set it up. To set it up, you have to get it from an approved device because I've got two-factor authentication. So that was had to go in and do it on the phone, but then it's got a code, and I didn't know what the code was. It kept sending me codes, but then it kept telling me the code was wrong. Long story short, I had to reset my iCloud keychain, which don't use anyway, so therefore what was I resetting? I don't know. And now I'm back to the point where I can try once again to get back into the Hue app to set up Siri. This part I don't think has gone well. And I have a bad feeling that if this is what I have to do to get it to work on my iPad and my iPhone, how is that going to work on Michelle's phone? And how's that going to work on Irene's phone and her iPad or James's iPad or any of the other people who need to be able to access the stinking lights in the house? Bad plan, people. I'm hoping they're going to pull this one out of their butts at the last moment, but I have a bad feeling about this. And now we're pairing. Position the 8-digit accessory setup code in the frame. It can be found on the bridge device packaging or on the device. Holy. Okay, well, there it is. Okay, it scanned it and it added it, so that's kind of interesting. And now it looks like things are ready. All right, let's give it a try. Turn lamp on, 75%.
Here's some information.
Not so good. Turn lamp on, 50%.
Okay, Eugene, I set the lamp to 50.
Doesn't look like it. Turn lamp on.
Sorry, Eugene, I wasn't able to find any devices this...
Yeah, of course you don't. I'm in the, I'm in the street actually, but I'm parked outside James's school. He has his very first school dance tonight. Chuan has gone in to pick him up. The dance is over, but it's just another milestone in my little children leaving the house and flying away. It's all very sad. It's that day. It's that very day. It's the day when we go from the cooling to the heating cycle on the home central heating and cooling, and it's the day when we go to reverse all the fans. So that's off, and we just give it a few minutes, and then we reverse it and put them all into reverse because it's that day. You may have noticed that the other day I was setting up Hue and getting Siri going, and then I skipped off to my son's dance, and that was because I needed to walk away from the damn frustrating thing. It wasn't the Apple-like experience that I come to expect from things associated with my iPhone and such. I will lay the blame, a lot of it, on Hue, perhaps, but also on Apple in this case, and I will explain what ultimately happened. Yes, I got them in. Now, we've discussed that I do not have a house with 50 Hue bulbs in it. I don't have 3 lamps that when I want to watch TV, I want this one on at 50% and that one on at 20% and this one on in a rose-colored hue or something like that. I don't have that arrangement. I don't see that much value in these bulbs that I have got them permeated, I have them in all 3 major bedrooms. I have one in the living room and I have one here in my office. And that's really all I have at the moment. You know, as this experiment goes on, perhaps I'll have more, but for the moment, that's it. Now, if you look at the Hue app, the first screen that comes up is scenes. Scenes are really what it's all about. So you set the scene, reading, or going to bed, or getting up in the morning, or hanky-panky time. Whatever you want to have your light moods set at. So this is your opportunity to pick combinations of lights in combinations of rooms and set them to certain colors, or if they're color bulbs, or set them to certain intensities, and have that be in a all-in-one push a button, and it sets the scene, as the name might imply. So when I set my Hue up, that was the first thing I did. I'm like, oh, well, I have a scene for the living room, because I have one light in the living room, and if I want it on, I want it on. So that's the living room scene, on. Most of the time I don't want the lights at some odd percentage value. I want bright light. So living room is the light on in the living room. Office is the light on in the office. Bedroom is the light on in the bedroom. Michelle's bedroom is the light on in Michelle's bedroom, etc. But you also have lights, and that's on a different screen that you get to as a secondary screen, and you set up the lights themselves, and those are named things like office, living room, bedroom, Michelle's room, James' room, and etc. Perfectly logical, right? There's a scene for those rooms, and there's a scene. So you could go into lights and fiddle fart around with it and turn them on, or you could go into scenes and activate the scenes. And there are times when a scene makes sense, like a wake-up scene. I want James and Michelle's lights to come on at the same time at full intensity to wake them up in the morning. So, all right, fine. Doesn't play well with Siri. Does not play well with Siri. Siri gets confused. If you want to turn a light on, you have to say turn on living room. If you want to set a scene, you have to say set living room. So, but if you say turn on living room and it confuses it with scene, it tells you it can't. Or sometimes it does. It says, oh, I've set the scene. It's like, I didn't ask you to set the scene. I told you to turn on the light. And so sometimes when you say turn on living room 50%, which you can do when you're dealing with a light, it tells you it can't do that because it's a scene, and scenes don't have that. So my fault. I set the lights and the rooms to be the same thing. I had to go through and delete all my scenes and create new ones with different names so that Siri would not be confused by them. Nonetheless, it just doesn't work reliably. I can say turn office on 50%, and 50% of the time it works. And the other 50% of the time it says, I can't affect that resource for you. And it's totally understanding it. If you read what Siri has written across the screen, it's completely understood that that's a light. And sometimes you say, turn all lights off. And it will say, I couldn't do that with everything, but it does seem to turn all the lights off. I'm guessing that some of them are off, and therefore it doesn't get a feedback from them, and so therefore it thinks it's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's frustratingly it's maddeningly frustrating. I was just trying to turn the light on here in this room, and I could not get it to turn on. It just kept telling me, you can't turn this light on. And so then I manually turned it on, and I said to turn it off, and it said, well, you can't turn it off. And then I said, well, turn it on 50%, and sure enough, it dimmed it to 50%. Why? I don't know. I simply don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So for a day one product, no. It's still, when it works, it's much better than having to fiddle fart around and go into the Hue app to turn on your freaking lights. It is quicker just to pull out the phone and go, ding, turn lights on, and they come on. That works better than fingerprint, Hue app, wait, and it's seen all lights. So I'm hoping they get it there. I'm hoping they get it there soon. Maybe another firmware update. Maybe it's I don't think it's a Siri thing, because Siri is not only getting it right, but because of the way it capitalizes it. So like if I say turn on living room, it capitalizes living room. It knows that I'm talking specifically about the living room light. It is not misinterpreting what I'm saying. It just is not getting whatever it needs back from the Hue bridge. So a little disappointed. I suppose I could poke online and see if anybody else is having these problems, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it for this particular one. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Have you got a Hue bridge, the new one, the squarey thing? How's Siri working for you? How's the HomeKit integration, I guess is the correct word. I have all the latest gear. It's, you know, Apple iPads running 9.1. I'm running a new Apple TV. We're all totally up to date. It's not like I haven't patched to the latest level. So, what's your experience? Anybody out there got them? Let me know.